Hi everybody, it's Helen McConnell here from helenmcconnell.com. This is the final video in my video series called Pandemic Weight Gain. Again, I want to reiterate that I'm not trying to body shame. There's nothing about body shaming here, but for many people who are uncomfortable with how they've gained weight through the pandemic, this series is for you, men or women. Now, in this final video, and I think this is true for anybody in their body, when you go into fear, your body retains weight. It's an ancient program that's meant to keep us alive from our ancient ancestors who didn't always have access to food. If there was a big change where the whole tribe started moving or some other fearful event, the body would hold on to calories in case there weren't enough calories the next day or the next week. There are also spiritual, and if you have a past life where you starved to death or your people starved to death, when you get scared, you're going to hold on to weight. But biologically, when we're in fear, the body just doesn't work properly. It gets out of balance. So I invite you to notice during the pandemic, well, number one, stop watching the news. Just don't watch the news. You know what you need to do and what you don't need to do for the most part. So you're better off not watching the news. And try this. Just don't get into any conversations with anybody about stuff that makes you upset, that makes you scared. Let's do some tapping around fear. Just notice any fear that you are experiencing. What a lot of people are able to identify is that they've had this underlying sort of vibration of fear going. It's like it's a background noise since March of 2020, maybe longer, but especially when they started shutting things down. And your mind goes to all kinds of places where it doesn't need to go. So sense into that fear and notice how intense it feels. 0 to 10. How intense is your sort of background level of fear, or foreground? Many people bring it to the foreground. And there are so many reasons why you need to reduce your fear. Eliminate the intensity of your fear. When we're in fear, we're so suggestible and we're so manipulatable. We're so easily manipulated. Most people don't think well for themselves when they're in fear. But when you can reduce that fear and eliminate it, you can rise above all kinds of situations and you can think clearly, creatively, and in alignment with divine rather than in alignment with my fear state. All right, so take the intensity, 0 to 10. Intensity, just sense into it. How fearful have I been being for the last 9 months or the last 10 months? Just notice it. Take the first number that comes, 0 to 10. 10 being totally, intensely afraid, and 0 being not at all afraid. Jot that number down and just tap along. We're going to do some basic tapping. Tap on the side of your hand and say, even though I've had this fear running in the background, and you repeat that, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though this fear is sending a message to my body to hold on to every last calorie, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And even though there hasn't been one time during this pandemic where I had difficulty getting food, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And I choose to know that right here, right now, I'm safe. In this moment, I'm safe. Okay, and now tap around the points and say, this background noise of fear on the eyebrow keeps me on high alert. Side of the eye. It keeps my body out of balance. Under the eye. My body's hanging on to calories. under the nose. My body's preparing for famine, on the chin. I choose to know I'm safe, collarbone. The only thing I'm afraid of, under the eye, is something that isn't actually happening to me right now. Top of the head, it's something that's in my mind in the future, on the eyebrow, or it's something in my mind that's in the past. Right here, in this moment, I'm safe. Under the eye, it's safe for me to feel calm in this moment. Under the nose, it's safe for my body to be in balance. On the chin, it's safe for me to feel safe. Collarbone, it's safe to feel calm. Under the arm, it's safe for me to feel calm. Okay, and then just take a deep breath there. And that little 2 rounds of tapping can maybe trigger some other things. I invite you to re-watch the tapping part of this video as many times as you need to sort of, it activates fearful things and then it settles them down. It activates them and settles them down, which is why tapping works so well. We want to activate the fear and then settle it down. And that begins to rewrite your nervous system. It rewrites your neurons in your brain to say, oh, that thought doesn't mean I have to be afraid. Oh, that's an old pattern. I'm going to rewrite that pattern. So as many times as you can do it, the better you'll feel. If you're not feeling calm when you eat, you're inviting your body to hold on to every last calorie. Now, it'll take what it needs, but it will not release anything extra. So I invite you to tap before you eat, just like we did a couple videos ago. I had you tap just before you eat anything, not to stop you from eating, but just to calm your body down. Okay. And then there's one more thing that's really easy. I put it in lots of videos. It's really easy to do when you're in a state and you can't seem to get out of the state. It's your old thinking. It's an old pattern of thinking that's repeating itself over and over. And the only way out is to change your thinking. But we can't, for the most part, just sit here and go, I'm going to change my thinking. I'm going to change my thinking. But here's a quick way to change your thinking. So just know if you're feeling stressed or out of control, it's something from the past. It's not a new thought. It's an old thought. So you tap on top of your head. You don't even need to identify what's going on, except that it feels you're not in a calm state. Tap on top of your head and say, well, there's some old thinking. On the eyebrow, old repetitive thinking. Side of the eye, negative, unconscious thinking. And you go under the eye and you say, I keep thinking the same old thoughts over and over. Under the nose, and I'm surprised when I get the same old results. On the chin, this old thinking. On the collarbone, maybe it was helpful at some point. Under the arm, but it's not helpful anymore. Top of the head. In fact, it's really starting to limit me. On the eyebrow, I'm ready to let this old thinking go. Side of the eye, I'm choosing to let it go now. Under the eye, I'm choosing new thinking. Under the nose, and I don't need to figure out what that new thinking is. Okay, and you can just tap through the rest of the points if you want. And take a deep breath. And just notice that your mind has quieted a bit. What do you mean I don't need to figure it out? I don't need to figure it out, okay? So I call that the thought interruption protocol. TIP, T-I-P, because it interrupts your thinking. And that's what we need. We need to interrupt our thinking, because otherwise we get caught up. We think a thought, our emotions come up. The emotions cause us to think thoughts like that over and over and over. Thought, emotion, thought, emotion, thought, emotion. And pretty soon you're in a panic state. That is not helpful. It's never helpful to be in a panic state. Never, ever, ever. So if you tend to panic, I invite you to do more tapping. Thanks for watching this series. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've got lots more videos coming up here in the next couple of weeks. As we move into 2021, I'm introducing my Tapping into Higher Consciousness series. And I really look forward to sharing that with you because it's really powerful. You're going to feel a whole lot better. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Happy New Year.